Every morning, you have two choices. Hit the snooze button and go back to your old life. Or wake up and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Most people think change happens overnight, but real transformation begins in small, uncomfortable moments. It begins the day you decide that you're no longer okay with being average. You see, the truth is this: your life won't change until you do, and that starts with awareness. You can't fix what you don't see. Most people are living their lives on autopilot. Same routines, same conversations, same excuses. They repeat days instead of creating them. They wake up, go to work, come home, scroll on their phones and call that living. But once you start becoming aware of how you spend your time, who you spend it with, and what you feed your mind, everything starts to shift. Awareness is uncomfortable because it forces you to face your own patterns. But that's where change begins. The moment you say, I'm done living like this, that's the moment you start rewriting your story. Now let's be honest, motivation fades. Everyone loves to feel inspired for a day, but that high disappears fast. What separates winners from everyone else isn't motivation, it's discipline. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's waking up early when your body says sleep. It's saying no to distractions. When your mind says scroll, it's showing up every single day, even when the results aren't showing yet. The people you admire, the ones you call lucky or talented, aren't special. They're consistent. They've built habits that most people don't have the patience for. Every push-up, every cold call, every extra hour of learning adds up. Discipline is boring, but that's where greatness is built. In the repetition, the quiet hours when no one's watching. The world rewards people who do the hard things long after the excitement is gone. But here's something few people realize. Your environment determines your elevation. You can't grow around people who are comfortable staying the same. Look around you. Who do you spend time with? Are they talking about ideas? Or are they talking about other people? Are they pushing you to level up? Or pulling you back down to their comfort zone? If your circle doesn't make you uncomfortable, it's not a circle, it's a cage. Sometimes you have to outgrow people you love, not because you think you better than them, but because you refuse to settle where they stop trying. Surround yourself with people who make you feel behind in the best way possible. People who make you question your limits. People who force you to sharpen your game because your environment beats your willpower every single time. You can't expect to fly when you're hanging around with people who are afraid of heights. And finally, you need a vision that's bigger than your excuses. Most people quit because their dream is too small to fight for. They want success, but not enough to endure pain. You need something so massive, so personal, that failure isn't an option. When your vision is big enough, every setback becomes fuel. You stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, as long as it takes. Excuses fade when your purpose becomes non-negotiable. Think about it. What would your life look like if you chased your potential with the same energy you chase distractions? What if you put the same effort into your growth that you put into your fears? The difference between where you are and where you want to be isn't luck, it's focus. Every minute you waste on doubt could have been invested in building something meaningful. So here's the challenge. Don't just watch this and feel inspired. Watch it every day until it becomes a reminder of who you're supposed to be. You're not here to survive. You're here to create, to lead, to impact. Every morning you wake up, you're given a new chance to rewrite your story. The world doesn't owe you anything, but it will give you everything once you prove you're serious about your potential. You have one life. Don't spend it wishing, spend it building. Wake up with purpose, move with discipline, protect your environment, and dream so big that your excuses no longer make sense. Watch this every day and remind yourself your future is waiting, but it won't wait forever. Awareness is the first step to change because you can't transform a life you don't understand. Most people want to improve, but they never stop long enough to observe where they actually are. They move through life on autopilot, repeating the same habits, reacting the same way, and wondering why nothing changes. Awareness is when you step outside yourself for a moment and start noticing the patterns that have been running your life. It's the moment you realize that your results are not random, they're reflections of your choices. Every area of your life, your finances, health, relationships, mindset, is a mirror showing you what you've been tolerating and what you've been avoiding. But awareness is not comfortable. It forces you to face the truth about how much time you waste, the excuses you hide behind, and the potential you've left untapped. That's why most people avoid it. They distract themselves with entertainment. They stay busy. They keep talking about change, but never sit in silence to see who they become. Real awareness comes when you have the courage to look at your life without filters, without justification, without blame. It's when you stop saying, this is just how I am, and start asking, why am I like this? That question alone can open the door to transformation, because once you understand why you do what you do, you gain the power to choose differently. Awareness isn't just about knowing your weaknesses. It's also about seeing your strengths clearly. When you know what you're good at, you stop comparing yourself to others. You start building your life around your gifts instead of your fears. You stop trying to copy other people's success formulas and begin designing your own. That level of awareness gives you direction. It tells you where to focus your time, what to say yes to, and what to walk away from. Without awareness, you end up chasing everything and catching nothing, And here's the truth. Awareness is the hardest part of change, but it's also the most powerful. Once you become aware, you can't go back. Once you see the pattern, it's impossible to unsee it. That's when responsibility kicks in. You realize that no one else is coming to save you, no one else can fix your life, and no one else can do the work for you. That realization can sting, but it's also liberating, because when you know you're responsible, you also know you're in control. So start today by paying attention. Watch your thoughts. Listen to how you talk to yourself. Notice how you react when things go wrong. See what triggers your anger, what feeds your laziness, and what drains your energy. Awareness doesn't demand perfection. It demands honesty. The more honest you become with yourself, the more power you gain to rewrite your story. Change doesn't start when things get easier. It starts when you finally open your eyes and decide to stop living blind. Awareness is the foundation. And once you have it, everything else begins to shift. Your habits, your energy, your future. Discipline over motivation. That's the principle that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Motivation feels good. It gives you that rush, that emotional boost, that temporary drive to start something. But when the excitement fades, and it always does, discipline is what keeps you moving. Everyone can be motivated for a day, a week, or maybe a month. But discipline is showing up when your emotions are gone, when your body is tired, when your mind is screaming to quit. That's where the real winners are built, not in the moments of hype, but in the silence of repetition. Motivation depends on feelings. Discipline depends on decisions. When you rely on motivation, you give power to your emotions, and emotions change every single day. Some mornings you'll wake up inspired, most mornings you won't. But if you have discipline, it doesn't matter how you feel. You've already decided that. Your goals aren't negotiable. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to be consistent, because discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about doing the work when you least feel like it, and that's exactly why it works. Every time you act with discipline, you strengthen your character. You teach your mind that you're in control, not your mood. The truth is, the people you admire, the ones who built empires, mastered their craft, changed their lives, they all learned to stop depending on motivation. They built systems, routines, and habits that operate even when inspiration disappears. The athlete doesn't always love the workout. The entrepreneur doesn't always love the grind. The writer doesn't always feel creative. But they show up anyway, because they know that success doesn't care about your feelings. It rewards consistency, not convenience. Discipline is doing it because it needs to be done, not because you feel like doing it. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when the results don't show, when your effort feels wasted. That's when most people quit. But discipline teaches you patience, the kind of patience that turns average into extraordinary. You start realizing that every small effort compounds. Every early morning, every focused hour, every repetition is a deposit in your future. Most people underestimate what they can do in a year because they overestimate what they can do in a week. Discipline bridges that gap. It's the glue between your goals and your results. If you want to change your life, stop chasing motivation and start building discipline. Wake up at the same time. Follow your routine even when you don't see instant reward. Keep your promises to yourself, because every broken promise weakens your self-respect, and every kept promise builds it stronger. Motivation might inspire others, but discipline earns respect from others and from yourself. When you can trust yourself to follow through no matter how you feel, you become unstoppable, because motivation might get you started, but discipline will finish the job. That's the difference between those who talk about change and those who actually create it. Your circle and your environment are either shaping you into your future or trapping you in your past. Most people underestimate how much influence their surroundings have on their mindset, their habits, and ultimately their destiny. You could have all the ambition in the world, but if you're surrounded by people who settle for mediocrity, sooner or later, you'll start lowering your standards too. You can't stay hungry for growth in a room full of people who are satisfied with average. Your environment feeds your energy, and your energy determines your execution. That's why auditing your circle isn't optional. It's essential. Look at the people closest to you. Are they inspiring you or distracting you? Are they pushing you toward progress or pulling you back into comfort? You can tell everything about your future by looking at the 5 people you spend the most time with. If they're not growing, chances are you're not either. If they complain, you'll start complaining. If they dream small, you'll start thinking small. Energy is contagious, whether you notice it or not. You're constantly absorbing the mindset, language, and habits of your circle. That's why you have to protect your environment like your life depends on it. Because it does. Sometimes the hardest part of growth isn't learning something new. It's outgrowing people who aren't growing with you. It's realizing that loyalty doesn't mean staying stuck. You can love people and still create distance. You can care about someone and still recognize that their influence is toxic to your goals. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into your next chapter. Some were only meant for a season, not a lifetime. The moment you start evolving, you'll make others uncomfortable, and that's okay. Your growth will offend the ones who gave up on theirs, but never shrink yourself to make someone else feel better about staying small. A powerful circle challenges you. They don't let you complain without offering a solution. They don't let you make excuses. They don't celebrate laziness or mediocrity. They hold you accountable, even when it stings, because they care more about your potential than your comfort. When you're around people like that, your standards rise naturally. You don't need external motivation because your environment keeps you sharp. You start competing with your old self instead of the people around you. That's what a winning environment does. It creates pressure that produces diamonds, not excuses. But it's not just about people. It's about space and energy too. Your environment includes what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, and the habits that fill your day. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, gossip, or distraction, your mindset will reflect it. Fill your environment with things that pull you forward. Books, ideas, routines, visuals, conversations that stretch your thinking. Make your surroundings a reflection of the future you want, not the past you left. You can't expect to live a new life while breathing the same old air. Audit your circle with honesty and your environment with intention. Because the truth is, no matter how disciplined or talented you are, you can't rise above a toxic environment for long. Your growth depends on the company you keep and the space you create. Protect both. Surround yourself with people who make you feel behind in the best way possible. The ones who remind you that you can be more, do more, and achieve more. The right environment doesn't just support your growth, it demands it. And once you find that kind of energy, your evolution becomes unstoppable. If your vision isn't big enough to scare you, it's not big enough to change you. Most people never reach their potential because their goals are too small to challenge their limits. They dream within the boundaries of their comfort zone. And when things get hard, they quit because the dream isn't strong enough to pull them through the pain. But when your vision is massive, when it's something that wakes you up in the middle of the night, something that keeps you obsessed, something that makes every excuse sound weak, that's when transformation begins. A small vision makes room for excuses. A big vision makes them irrelevant. Excuses are comfortable. They let you avoid effort while still feeling justified. You tell yourself you're too tired, too late, too old, too young, too inexperienced. But the truth is those excuses exist only because your why isn't powerful enough. When your vision becomes your obsession, you don't look for reasons to stop. You look for ways to continue. Think about it. The person who truly wants to change their life doesn't wait for the perfect moment. They create it. They don't ask, what if it doesn't work? They ask, what if it does? That mindset shift happens when your vision becomes bigger than your limitations. A powerful vision gives your life direction. It tells you what to say yes to and what to walk away from. It helps you stay focused when distractions come knocking. Every time you're tempted to give up, your vision whispers, remember why you started. That voice becomes your anchor. You stop being motivated by comfort and start being driven by purpose. The people who build extraordinary lives aren't the ones with perfect conditions. They're the ones who keep moving despite imperfect ones because their vision is clear and clarity kills excuses. But a vision doesn't just live in your mind. It has to live in your habits. You can't claim you want to build something great while living like everyone else. Your vision should shape your discipline, your time, your conversations, your energy. Every decision should serve that bigger picture. The moment your vision becomes non-negotiable, you stop entertaining anything that doesn't align with it. You stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. You stop waiting for approval. You stop settling. You start acting like the person your future demands you to be. The problem is, most people spend more time defending their excuses than building their dreams. They'll explain why they can't do it, why the timing isn't right, why others have it easier, but no excuse has ever built a legacy. Excuses don't pay bills, don't create opportunities, don't earn respect. Effort does. The moment you realize that, you take back your power. Your excuses might have protected your comfort, but they've also cost you your growth. And there comes a point where you have to decide, do you want comfort or do you want change? Because you can't have both. A big vision gives you strength on the days when progress is invisible. It becomes a fire that burns through fear, doubt, and setbacks. When your dream is powerful enough, you stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as tests. Every challenge becomes a filter, separating those who wish from those who work. That's why you need a vision that's bigger than your excuses. Because when your purpose is massive, no amount of pain can stop you. Your vision becomes your reason, your focus, and your fuel. So build that vision. Make it so clear that you can see it when you close your eyes. Make it so personal that it brings you to tears. Make it so big that people laugh when you tell them. And then go out and prove them wrong. Because when your vision becomes greater than your excuses, the impossible starts to look possible. You stop waiting for the right time because you realize the right time is now. And once you reach that level of commitment, no excuse in the world can stand in your way. At the end of the day, everything you want, the success, the peace, the fulfillment, the freedom, begins and ends with you. No one is coming to hand it to you, and no one is going to live your dream for you. You have to make a choice to stay the same or to rise above the version of yourself that's been holding you back. Awareness opens the door. Discipline keeps you walking through it. The right environment lifts you higher, and a powerful vision pulls you through every storm. That's the formula for transformation. Not luck, not talent, but responsibility. You've got to take full ownership of your life, even when it hurts, even when it feels unfair. Because the moment you stop blaming and start building, everything changes. There will be days when you feel lost, when the progress seems invisible, when the voices of doubt get louder than your dreams. That's when you remind yourself why you started. That's when you go back to your vision, tighten your circle, and show up with discipline. Even when no one's watching, change doesn't happen in one grand moment. It happens in the small, quiet decisions you make every single day. The decision to get up early, the decision to push through pain, the decision to cut off negativity, the decision to believe again when you failed before. So if you truly want to change your life, stop waiting for the right time. Create it. Stop looking for permission. Give it to yourself. Stop making excuses. Build something bigger than them. Your life can shift the moment you decide you're done settling. Watch this every day until it sinks into your spirit that you were meant for more. Every second you waste doubting yourself is time you could be using to become who you were born to be. The future belongs to those who take charge of it. So take the first step, stay consistent, stay hungry, and remember, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be committed. Change your habits and you'll change your results. Change your environment and you'll change your direction. Change your mindset and you'll change your life.